The schools don't have libraries. There's no cafeteria or canteen. It's just like Africa. It's like cement slabs, a desk. I know parents are kind of insane. I'm not that parent. I just noticed you guys don't have any library books. There's no libraries. Like, how are you guys reading? Would you like 50,000 books? I thought all nonprofits were like these good-hearted, lovely people trying to save the world. Holy moly, like there's so many fake ones and there's so many scammers. 90% plus are scammers. I'm not your boss. I'm in charge of certain things. You're in charge of certain things, but I'm not your boss. The boss is the mission.
Welcome to The Business Game, the show that breaks business down into real levels, from $0 to $200 billion, so founders can see exactly where they are and what comes next. Today's guest is playing at level 2, the early builder stage. At this level, you've proven the model works. Revenue is coming in, but now you're hiring your first team, installing your first systems, and trying to stabilize delivery. The challenges? Letting go of control, managing people for the first time, and moving from chaos to consistency. The goal? Stop doing everything yourself and build a machine that runs with structure, not stress.
Hi, Robby. So, Tech My School is such a fascinating and important initiative. Could you tell our listeners about Tech My School?
Tech My School is an educational nonprofit that serves America's most underserved, underprivileged kids, but it's much more than that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to transform education by better leveraging the best tools on the market. So we're constantly ideating and adapting to whatever comes out because we want to give kids, like really every kid, a world-class education. And the story of Tech My School is fascinating. It's long, but it's all driven through our mission of service and giving students a rope to improve their lives with education.
Yeah, wow. So I know you said the story is long, but could you tell us a little bit about Tech My School and how it started?
Absolutely. So I myself, I'm an educator. I've spent over 20 years in education working in schools. I started as a teacher in the inner city schools of Hawaii, of all places, in Honolulu.
I'm from Hawaii.
Oh, there you go. I was at Royal Elementary, and I was joining the America Reads program where I was teaching kids how to read in Honolulu. And it was there, my freshman year of college, that I realized this was for me. This is the path I wanted to take. In school, I was the poorest kid. Like my grandfather was very wealthy. My father was very poor. And I was the result, my dad grew up poor with my dad. And so I was the kid who really needed school to really just grow up and survive. That's where I got food. That's where I had parents who cared, or adults who cared about me or whatnot. And so I didn't know right when I graduated high school that I wanted to be a teacher, but after getting an opportunity to work at an elementary school when I was in Hawaii, all those emotions kind of came rushing back from when I was a kid. And I knew that I really wanted to serve because kind of my own core values, I love to serve and I love to learn. Those are kind of like my two facets. So anyways, fast forward a bit. I went through university. My roommates were from Kenya and Sweden, and I visited them over the summer, so I got a bit of travel bug during that time, and I really loved traveling. I really loved teaching, and I was able to combine that. I started to work for international schools after I did about 5 years of public school service in the inner cities of Honolulu and San Diego, where I'm from, and I worked at these American international schools, if you've ever heard of them. They're in every major city around the world. They're fantastic. The kids are great. I learned a lot, and I went from teacher to teacher trainer to CTO of schools at these various international schools. I went from Kazakhstan to Qatar to Silicon Valley, where I got my master's in IT. Then I became a tech trainer and a tech director. Went to Saudi Arabia, was on the Red Sea in Jeddah for 4 years, where I became a remote learning specialist. So in case the school got shut down, we're preparing for like a terrorist attack, or how how do you keep schools going even during times of crisis? So I specialized in that. I was brought into Nigeria at the American School of Lagos because of Ebola and political unrest, and in case the school needs to shut down. And of course, COVID happened. So I had been training my staff for a COVID-like situation, and it did happen. And our school didn't miss a beat. We were practicing the fire drill before the fire, and so it was great, but it was very exhausting. My wife and I, we worked together. She's been with me for a very long time, working as an educator as well. And we decided after our contract ended in Nigeria that we wanted to take a break. We wanted to do a sabbatical year. I was traveling around literally the world, going to these conferences, talking about remote learning, talking about strategic planning. I had spoken in Abu Dhabi, in Cape Town, Bangkok, in Greece, many places. And I wanted to take this sabbatical year to write this book on the things that I've been, that I had learned and that I was speaking on. And then also, to reset after COVID. And then hopefully that would propel me into my next great international teaching gig at some amazing school. And so we were deciding between three islands, sorry. One was either going to be Zanzibar, because we loved Stone Town. We had visited it before. The other was going to be Koh Samui, Thailand, because we love Thailand. Who doesn't love Thailand?
Yeah.
And the third option we were looking at was Puerto Rico. And so all of these locations kind of had the same vibes. We really wanted to be on an island, beautiful weather, cool cultures, that kind of thing. But we stuck with Puerto Rico so my kids can learn Spanish, but more so, there's Costco. So if you don't know what Costco is, it's like a big store with all the
I grew up
American
on Costco.
food, groceries. Yes. And so when you're living in Nigeria and you're like going on scouting trips trying to find cereal, having something that's like, just right
Familiar.
there just seemed really appealing.
Yeah.
So we came to Puerto Rico. We knew very little about it other than it was a beautiful island. And we learned very quickly about the goods and the bads, I guess you could say. I put my boys I had two boys, put them in the local schools, and I was expecting it to be around Hawaii level.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico is an American territory. The people here have been American citizens since 1917. It's been part of the U.S. since 1898. So like before Arizona was a state, Puerto Rico was a part of America. And I just assumed it was like Hawaii, like maybe not as strong as California or Massachusetts or something, but still of the same quality that you'd expect for anyone who's an American citizen, because everyone here has the same blue passport and it should be the same.
Yes.
Shockingly though, when we put our kids in the school, just looking at the school, we knew it looked bad. It looked far closer to Nigeria than it did Hawaii.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, maybe I'm overthinking it. Let me just put them in there and see how it goes. By the second day, after talking with them and just seeing, kind of looking around, I knew, I was like, man, we got to help these guys.
Yeah.
We got to help this school, because Puerto Rico doesn't have public libraries. The schools don't have libraries. The school didn't even have a playground. The kids were playing on the parking lot. There's no cafeteria or canteen. It's just like Africa. It was like cement slabs, a desk in rows, a chalkboard, and a fan. And so I went to the director. I'm like, hey, I know parents are kind of insane, but I'm not that parent. But I just noticed you guys don't have any library books. There's no libraries. Like, how are you guys reading? And she was kind of like, oh, well, we have a few books in the classroom, and then our teachers will write something on the board, and the kids will copy it, and that's how they read.
Oh my gosh.
And I was kind of like, would you like 50,000 books? And she was like, yeah, of course, I love 50,000 books. I'm like, great, let me get you an app. It's called Epic. 50,000 books, we'll get it for all your students. As a CTO of schools, I'm used to this, like setting up systems and pushing things out. And so I'm like, cool, what's your email? And she's like, oh, it's like catlady69 or whatever at Gmail. And I'm just like, no. What is your real email? Like your school email? And she's like, oh, we don't have school email. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have school email? And I'm looking at like a 40-year-old male teacher teaching like 10 and 12-year-old girls or something using his private email. I'm like, okay, this is not good. And so as I started to kind of like do the checklist in my mind, like, well, do you have a student information system? Do you have a learning management? Like all the things that schools need. They're like, nope, everything's paper. And it really is.
Oh
It was kind of like going back to like the 60s or something.
Wow.
And so I kind of just got to work. I got to work helping this school, getting them computers, getting them softwares. I went from new parent to training all staff in the first month. So it was just like I was a part of the team. Yeah. And then a lot of the people here, they're very religious. It's the most religious place in America. Like over 90% identify as Christian or Catholic or whatever religion.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like joining churches and that's their community. So these teachers were talking to each other at church, like, hey, there's these gringos. They're giving us like free computers and stuff. They're so cool. You should ask them for help. And so I started getting like messages from random teachers like, hey, can you help my school? We don't have anything. And I was like, yeah, sure. And so one school turned into 2, turned into 4, turned into 50. And so, yeah, that was kind of how Tech My School was started. Serving schools, serving kids. The big thing though, the real driver for me is a couple of things. Number one, as an educator, we tell kids, I mean, over the past 20 plus years, I've been telling students, be a risk taker, be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
When you see a problem, go after it. If you're passionate about something, do it. If you see someone in trouble, help them. Like all these things that we tell kids to do, but in reality, teachers are the most risk averse people literally on the planet. They're like very compliant people. They went through the school, they raised their hand, they got the grades. Then they went to college, compliant again, grades. They went through the system and they're like, okay, I'm going to go back to the same system that I've done my entire life and I know nothing else.
Yeah.
And these are the people who are having like raise the next generation of kids, which is why business, entrepreneurship, financial literacy, like all these things that if you're outside of the, let's call it the system, are so essential. They're not really pushed in schools because these people who are leading it didn't get that really, they never lived that life. They don't know that experience. And so you only really teach what you feel comfortable knowing. So in many teachers' world, knowing awesome math facts and history facts and science facts is like, that's it. That's peak, as my kids say. So anyways, I kind of asked myself, like, have I been lying to people or have I been a hypocrite? Because I knew that what I had been doing, transforming schools or helping schools transform to, a very proficient modern education by leveraging technology tools, that was my specialty. I'm seeing it here in Puerto Rico and I'm like, this is a human capital problem here. There's some financial issues as well, but it's mostly human capital. And we can, support the capacity by training and giving them the right tools and showing them the right way. And so I kind of had to take that leap of faith because I was diverging from this beautiful path I'd, drawn out for myself over the past 15 years of like, I'm going to do this, then this, then this, then write this book, and then I'm going to go get this other job. And I had this whole map of my entire career. But when faced with this very challenging and heartbreaking situation, I had to jump into it. And the second part of it, besides just the fact that am I a hypocrite, am I actually believing in what the thing I've been selling kids for the past 20 years is, I've traveled to over 65 countries. I've been in a lot of places in nearly every continent. And one of the things that makes me proud to be from America, as controversial as it may be sounding, to have someone actually say that opinion, because I think nationalism is kind of under fire at the moment. But I'm proud of the fact that in America, it's all about, who you are, not what you are. And what I mean by that is like, doesn't matter what you look like or you sound like or where you're from. If you have grit, if you work hard, you can make it. Yes. And I've seen it on all levels. And I used to work inner city schools, like I said, for many years. And I never met a kid who worked his butt off, who just blocked out the noise of the negative influences outside of the school, at home, gangs, friends, whatever, drugs, and just worked really hard. I've never seen a kid like that not succeed. Usually they get front of the line treatment and they're the first one to get accepted into one of these universities. However, conversely, when you look at many countries around the world, not all, but there are definitely countries out there where if you're not the right gender, if you're not from the right tribe, you're not from the right religion, you don't have the right last name, no matter what you do, you're never going to reach your potential. You're always going to be, passed over or maybe not even given an opportunity at all.
Yeah, wow.
And so that, and I'm a living example. My sister's right there with me. She was in the same house I was. She's a molecular biologist. She's a pharma director of a big company. She's crushing it.
Wow.
I'm doing okay, but we just cared about school. We pulled ourselves out. We have that rope, and these other countries don't have it. And when I was in these countries, we would do charity work. We'd, give them some computers, and we hosted a conference, and we worked with some orphanages and stuff. But I'm a guest in those countries. You know what I mean? I'm a guest in these countries. I'm helping out, but it's their country. Coming to Puerto Rico, I'm like, this is my country. These are my people. I might look Puerto Rican. I'm not, but they're still the same passport. They're my people.
Yeah.
And the difference is kids have, in Puerto Rico, I feel like great families, great kids. They're working hard. But because the system's so broken, you have 17-year-old kids getting ready to graduate high school, never touched a computer before.
Wow.
They're reading at a fourth grade level. And, they barely speak English.
Yeah.
And you compare them with their contemporaries who are graduating in New York and Florida and, California. It's like they're on a different planet. And you think about all that human talent wasted. The guy who made, Ethereum? He was 17 years old when he did that. And there's a lot of crypto guys in Puerto Rico. So I think about that. I'm just like, man, we could have that founder or creator here in Puerto Rico, but because the system is so broken, they never got that opportunity. So education to me is the foundation of society. There's a direct parallel between GDP and standardized testing. So the countries that have great testing have great GDP, and the ones that have poor testing have poor GDPs.
Yeah.
So it flushes out to everything. So that's kind of the baseline of how Tech My School started, was just my own experience globally and my own childhood, as well as seeing this opportunity here in Puerto Rico, and just all about hitting my core values of trying to help people and to learn new things.
Yeah. Wow. That is
So
such
that's
an
how
incredible story.
Yeah, that's Tech My School in a nutshell, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and for doing what you're doing. It sounds, so important. And I'm American too. Like I said, I'm from Hawaii. So, very cool. And there's parts of America that are forgotten. And so it's very cool to see someone doing what you're doing. So thank you. In terms of business, what would you say the breakthrough that took you from that consultant helping the schools to that real company with that reoccurring revenue?
Yeah, so I guess it was fate or luck or just pure chance that we were the coconuts that landed on the shore of Puerto Rico. So I started with a 1-year plan to take the sabbatical to write my book. And that took risk in itself because I'm not at school, I'm not making an income, I'm, not in the machine grinding away on the hamster wheel. So I had saved about $30,000 to buy myself a boat. Okay, I wanted to buy myself a boat, go fishing, and then when I leave, I was going to sell the boat, and then whatever I lost, a couple thousand here or there, it would have been worth it.
Yes, yeah.
Now, because it was only going to be 1 year, but my boat became Tech My School, or Tech My School became my boat. So I started tapping into my boat money. I bought the truck to pull the boat, but then I never bought the boat because I kept, doing stuff for Tech My School, like buying software, getting computers, stuff like that. And the schools kept expanding. And so I started to reach out to companies, try to find partnerships. Hey, we're helping these schools. Do you have any old computers? And I know as a CTO, there's always computers stuck in some closet, no matter what the company is, whether it's a university, Fortune 500, they've always got these like old tech that's like 3 or 4 years old, getting cycled out that they end up calling a recycling company. And I know because I was a CTO. So I started hitting up companies like, hey, if you have old computers, I'd love to get them in these schools because I'm trying to stretch out that money I had. And over about 16 months of doing this work, just serving, giving, I was running a little low on the funds, and I was like, okay, I did a good thing, pat myself on the shoulder, good story, I did the thing. I'm going to go back to my international lifestyle. And my wife and I were walking on the beach, and we ran into this couple. It was another mainland American couple. And we're like, hey guys, what's up? Like, cool, where are you from? Da da da. Because it is kind of an expat life here. There's like the local Puerto Ricans, and then there's the ones from America. So yeah, the Howleys, us Howleys were talking to each other. They were like, oh, we're here for Act 60. And they're like, you're here for Act 62, right? And I'm like, I have no idea what that is. So if you don't know what Act 60 is, Act 60 is this decree to attract money to come, investors to come to Puerto Rico, wealthy individuals. And the way they do that, like any country or state attracts people, is you get rid of the taxes. So if you come to Puerto Rico under the Act 60 decree, you basically pay 0% tax on short-term capital gains, which means any like trading in the stock market or whatever, that's not going to affect you. Long-term capital gains, that would be, real estate that you own or, stocks you've owned for over a year period. If you own a business, your business pays 4% tax instead of 40, and then you can bypass it to yourself or distribute it to yourself at 0. So your company pays 4% and you on a personal level pay 0. So influx multiple millionaires and billionaires from New York and other places, and they're here for Act 60, and they do pay that 4%. So Puerto Rico is getting 4% of 40 million. That's kind of like free money for them, right? That never would have been there. But the people who are coming here are happy because they're not paying all this other tax. However, there is one caveat. The one caveat is you have to donate $10,000 to a local nonprofit of your choice. And so they're like, I told them, like, I have a nonprofit. I've never gotten any donations. Like, in the 16 months I've been doing this, I got one $3,000 donation from one of our volunteers because she was like feeling sorry for me. She's like, buy groceries with this, guys, because we were just like grinding. Like, she's like, why are you grinding so hard for this? Like, you don't even have any money. And
you're like, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll try. And so we started to network and go to these events and try to fundraise. And in that first attempt at fundraising, within 2 months, we had raised $270,000.
Wow.
Which it's crazy if you're doing it the traditional way, like going around, hey, can I get $5 a month or whatever? Watch this video of an African kid with flies on him or something.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Like some great, like sad video.
Very,
it's black and white
emotional pulling. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like that. It's like, it's weird. It's like you go to a bar, you're talking to some guys that are Act 60, who are crypto bros, and you're like, hey, dude, have you donated this year for Act 60? And they're like, oh, crap, I have to do that. No, man. I'm like, hey, I got a nonprofit. We help kids. Here's some pictures. They're like, oh, okay, cool, dude. Here's $10,000.
Perfect. You've done the job for them. Yeah.
It's kind of like that, which is pretty random. With that being said, though, there's over 2,000 nonprofits on the island.
Okay.
And there's a very small pool of Act 60 people. So it's like a cash grab, and everyone's competing to get these Act 60 donations. And it's kind of nuts, the length at what people do to get these donors. Like, they're throwing themselves, like, seriously, they're throwing like yacht parties. They're bringing in like Imagine Dragons to play private concerts with like caviar bars and Wagyu steak stations. And so people will come to our party, and to get in, you have to give us your donation. And so the people are looking at you like, you're helping kids. That's nice and everything. But I get Imagine Dragons and caviar. I'm going with that one. You know what I mean? So like we're competing with all these crazy people, and then we're trying to do it like equitably and ethically because we are teachers. So we actually believed in that, like doing the right thing. And another thing too is just the fact that I thought all nonprofits were like these good-hearted, like lovely people trying to save the world. And then once I got into the space, I'm like, holy moly, like there's so many fake ones and there's so many scammers.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like 90% plus are scammers,
Yes.
like wacky steak scammers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just AI images or stock photos and just like, oh, we help kids, we help frogs, we help, dogs. Here's a picture of my cat that got those. And then they're just like, hey, come to this, like, whatever. And so
Yeah.
we're it's wild. So we differentiate ourselves through our Instagram, through our proof of work, and we like just follow us on Instagram, put it right in Tech My School. Every single day you're gonna see a video of us going in some random school, working with kids, training teachers, giving coding, like all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know if it's a strategy that you can replicate unless you're really in Puerto Rico, other than the fact that like you got to take a risk to start no matter what.
Yeah.
And then once you start, you've got to build your network, because we've been a lot more successful than other nonprofits because we really work hard. We network like crazy. We do throw 2 events a year. We do a gala dinner, which is kind of like a board meeting where I just showcase where all the money went. We bring in directors, bring in the teachers. We show all the programs. It's like we're just going through like, here's where your money went. And then we do some like art gallery, like kids make art, and then we auction it off and stuff like that. And then the second one is we do a comedy show, just to kind of get some laughs. I actually do comedy.
Oh, fun.
I've done it like 3 times. I'm not a comedian, but I do comedy a little bit to try to like, and I bring in some comedians who are like up and coming, starving artists working at a gas station type people. And yeah, we try to raise money in any way we can, but regardless of whatever business you're in, you have to network, you have to market, you have to get out there, you have to take risk, and you got to sacrifice, because you don't know what's going to happen. But really, for us, it was just working consistently hard, and having people see that proof of work, and then just meeting the right person who kind of puts you on a trajectory, and then you kind of go from there. And there's that kind of meme where it shows, there's like a squiggly line, like the XY axis, and it's like squiggly line for a very long time.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it shoots up and it's like instant success or overnight success. And it doesn't show the part, all those months.
Yeah,
of
where
just
it's like,
grinding.
whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. Yeah, no one ever talks
that's-
about those pieces. It's, I'm glad you mentioned that, because
So that was our secret sauce, working really, really hard and just doing it for the right reasons. And then just once you learn more or find a niche or find a strategy, just going after it and finding out what works. Because even with the networking part, some methods work better than others.
Yeah.
And then once you find what methods work better, that's what you attack.
Yeah. And so what would you say that surprised you most, or might surprise other founders about selling into schools?
Hey guys, just a quick break to thank our affiliate partner, HubSpot. We are thrilled to announce our partnership with HubSpot, the ultimate all-in-one CRM platform. HubSpot helps you streamline marketing, sales, and customer service with powerful tools to grow your business faster. From lead generation to automations, it's got you covered. By using the link in the description, you not only get to start your HubSpot journey for free, but you'll also be supporting our work here on the show. Now it's back to today's episode.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you are selling and what type of school you're going after.
Yeah.
I was on a call with the VP of a big ed tech company earlier this afternoon. Tech My School partners with a lot of different ed tech companies, because we work as their philanthropic arm, because we're a 501c3. Basically, we get discounted rates on software, and then we give it to schools for free or at a very low price. And so we have lots of different ways we're trying to like funnel money and work partnerships with people. And one of the things him and I were talking about, he was interested about targeting the Puerto Rico market, because Puerto Rico does have a substantial amount of money coming into it because everyone's an American citizen. I mean, you can look it up. The Department of Education gave us like $3.5 billion.
Wow.
I think they do it like annually. So there's a lot of money coming in, but there's also a lot of corruption, which kind of, and like corruption mixed with other things that doesn't always result in 3.5 billion going to kids.
Yeah.
With that said, though, we were talking about the Puerto Rican market, how there's so many independent schools, because about half the schools here are independent, private schools, and half are public. And so, and that's a whole nother story. But just if you want to sell into education, whether you're selling to one private school, a school group, a district, or the entire country, you have to go through that same process, that same selling process. So I guess to skip the line, you'd want to sell to the biggest fish possible. Because if you get that one sell, that could be like 500 schools. And it took you, let's say, a month to get that sale. Or you can spend a month chasing another school and you get one sale.
Yeah.
So it's like, like return on investment.
Yes.
So education's a bit like that.
Okay.
If you're doing it globally, there are certain countries out there where you can just go for the Department of Education of that country and you'll get the entire country to use your product.
Oh, wow.
In the US mainland, it's far more decentralized.
Okay.
So you're selling to school districts.
Okay.
One of the things that Tech My School is a part of is something called TIPS, TIPS. And so with TIPS, they basically, you can sell to pretty much any district in America, and then they take a small percentage. But if you're on that list, you can sell to anyone. Because if you don't use TIPS, you literally have to fill out forms and go through the hoops and the bureaucracy to get into every single district. And there's like hundreds or thousands of them.
Oh my God.
So it saves a lot of time.
Yeah. So at this stage in your journey, what would you say keeps you up at night more? Is it the pipeline, the cash flow timing, or the delivery capacity? What's sort of bottlenecking you at the moment?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I mean, first and foremost, we see the impact that we make with the schools. I had come from a background of building successful, sustainable change in schools. I literally gave a talk on that. And so I know what it takes to build that sustainable change. It takes time and investment. And so we build these relationships with these schools, and we invest between $50,000 and $80,000 per school. So every time I take on a new school, it's a liability.
Yeah.
And so what keeps me up at night, honestly, is like all these donations come in the last month of the year, basically. And you never know who's going to donate to you or not. You're doing stuff throughout the year. You're networking. You're going to bars. You're going to events. You're shaking hands, kissing babies. And at the end of the year, they donate. And it's kind of like, did they donate? Did they not? Or whatever. And so for us, it's just like, I would hate to have to say goodbye to a community that we're building really powerful things with because I didn't buy enough beers for random dudes to get the donations. Or
Wow.
you know what I mean?
Yes,
or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. So that's what keeps me up at night. Or like if Brad Pitt moves to Puerto Rico and says, hey, I just started a nonprofit. It's Save the Seals. Come to my house, take a picture with me with my shirt off, and you can like touch my abs. Give me your $10,000. And everyone's like, I want to go to Brad Pitt's house. And they just do. And then like, now we're screwed.
You're like,
and that happens. Like there are celebrities who live in Puerto Rico who do that.
what?
Like if you know who Jake Paul is, yeah, Jake Paul has a nonprofit in Puerto Rico because he doesn't want to pay tax.
Yeah.
So those guys, there's a lot of like celebrity people who live here, and so we're competing with a lot of people, and they all have nonprofits because it's just a way. Like you
attached.
donate to mine, and I'll donate to yours, and we'll
Yeah.
have like a Don Perignon social group.
Yeah, it's
We buy
just
each other-
pay for our fun parties. Yeah, it is. And that's like what you said. There's a lot. It's so sad because I think there's such a strong opportunity in the non-for-profit space for good people to actually be able to leverage and do good things and be in business, but in a way that is giving back. But then there's people who take advantage of the advantages of, starting a business in the non-profit, like the tax evasion stuff. And it takes away from people like you.
I will say though that it's very motivating
Yeah.
that having that fear of not raising enough money because of the bro culture or whatever. That I'm like, okay, how else can we make money? like how else can we bring in revenue streams? Let's ideate. Let's think outside the box. And so that's how we've gotten so many different things. We throw like the biggest ed tech conference in the Caribbean. We do conferences. We go to booths. I was in London last week. I was in London first, then San Antonio. We created a product called Tech Plan Genie. So that's another separate entity. It's a regular company, but proceeds from that help keep us alive.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so just that, turning that fear into something positive. And then on a personal note, besides just the business side of it, is just the work-life balance. So as an educator, you have pretty good work-life balance. You work 180 days a year. You have summers off, winters off, spring off. You're on the same schedule as your kids. You can take them wherever after school. You can do stuff on the weekends. And so for me, that's been a bit of a challenge, a change, because I'd been I had so much more time on my hands. And now as an entrepreneur and a CEO of multiple companies, I don't sleep. I just work all the time. I do literally pencil in time for my kids. Like I'm very intentional about it.
Oh, that's good.
Each day, like with reading, and I do this thing called Man Talk on the weekends with my boys.
Fun.
Where I basically take them to lunch and we have they create a theme. Like they choose a theme and then they write 5 questions about that theme, and it can be whatever they want. And then we talk about it. And then we'll do something fun, like we'll play like basketball or go surfing or something for an hour. So it's usually about a 2 or 3 hour event, but we do it every weekend.
Oh, that's so cool. What a fun. My kids are a little bit young at the moment, but I'm going to stash that. I like that a lot.
Mom Talk. You can call it Mom Talk.
Yeah, I'll call it Mom Talk.
And that's what you do. You do an activity they like. It could be, soccer or cooking. I'm teaching them how to like cook and bake and just all the things that you want to teach them during that hour, just something active. And then take them to lunch, just you and them. And you just have them write those questions down. And I've taken pictures of every set of questions, and it's so cool to just go back and check their questions from like 4 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you want to build that communication stream with your kids, you can't wait until they're in college or high school and be like, "Hey, what's going on in your life?" They'll be like, "Nothing. Get out of my room."
Who are you? Yeah.
But if you're building it, like we started when they were 5.
Oh, fun.
Every weekend doing, you know what I mean? So now
Yes.
it's like so organic and natural for them to just open up and talk about things that are going on in their life and just things they hear, like all those things that parents want to have, those conversations they want to have with their kids, but usually never do because they don't have those built-in communication streams or those relationships, or maybe they're getting shut out and they don't even realize it.
Yes. Yeah. And it's teaching them that skill of asking questions too and observing.
Yes. And it's funny too, because I have 2 boys and so they're so different. Like one's asking like very like, empathetic and very like introspective questions. Like he's really digging deep into the questions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And my other son's just like, what's up? He's just so on the surface, but he's so like present. And for example, like we do goals every year. So we have like 6 categories of our goals and we look at them. And, to put it in perspective, the introspective son was talking about like one of his personal goals. He's like, okay, I want to like make honor roll. I want to do this. I want to like volunteer. And then my other son was like, I want to get a hot girlfriend. I want to get like a 6-pack. He's like 9 or 10 or whatever when he was writing that.
Perfect.
It was just, you could just see the difference, but
and you're documenting all of that for their 21st to just show them.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll put a camera just like on the couch or on the and so we'll do man talks. Usually it's at the restaurant, but sometimes I'll do it at home just to record the talk so I can go back and listen to it.
Oh, I love that. So obviously you've got a bit of a leadership role at home, being a dad, which is fantastic. How do you sort of take that into your role with Tech by School? Like, how has your leadership style had to evolve as you've grown?
Yeah, so I've been able to work with some phenomenal leaders, and I've also been able to work with some terrible leaders. And so hopefully when you come into a position of power or leadership, you take the good from the good leaders and don't take on the ones from the bad. So I try to treat people and my employees the way that I would like to be treated. And so I'm the kind of person where I was built for this because I was always learning, always going. I was always being told no in a school. I was kind of like the hot rod or the Ferrari or whatever that was in the garage that never got to drive around. My superintendent would let me drive around like twice a year, like see how cool I have this cool toy. And I'll go back in the garage and go twiddle your thumbs, like leave us alone.
Yeah, wow.
Whereas, you know what I mean? That's just
Yeah.
kind of how it is because I had these ideas, this energy, and I had to like invent things to come up with to support the school and those kinds of things. And so entrepreneurial, lifestyle, there is no ceiling. It's your own mindset. So one of the ways I lead is I know they say, you should say no, you should say no, you should say no. Be very selective with your no. There are, of course, guardrails, and I do say no, but I don't put handcuffs on my team. I have a very like flat leadership style, and I'm just like best idea wins. I don't care if you've been here for a day or it's me or whoever.
Yeah.
Like you have an idea and you want to go in that direction, that's awesome. We're doing it. Or I have this cool idea to do this, or maybe we should try that. Like do it, do it, do it. So I'm very much like a go, go, go. And I also give my team a ton of autonomy to really feel like I tell them I'm not your boss. Like I'm in charge of certain things, like you're in charge of certain things, but I'm not your boss. The boss is the mission.
Yeah.
And like that is who you serve. That is who you have to own up to every day. Like you need to serve the mission. I serve the mission, and our mission is to serve these kids, these schools, to give everyone a world-class education. And it's like, that's why I can work weekends, nights. It doesn't matter because there's such great need, and it's such a meaningful purpose for me that I can just work and work and work and work, and I never feel like, what time is it? I want to quit. I want to, you know what I mean? I'm always
Yes.
just thinking and working towards this goal. So I try to hire people who are like-minded like that.
Yeah.
We bring on people who are those A-type personalities that, those 80-20 situations, like the 20% do 80%.
Yes.
I bring in those people. Like we're animals. We're just crazy. We're working all the time, weekends, nights. We can text at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, like, hey, what do you think about this? And we're just all going. I mean, they do have families and lives and everything, but
Yes.
we're a small Navy SEAL type team. We're just going and we're going into missions and we're doing huge things. There's very little fat in the company. It's all lean meat, lean meat machines.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
do you see yourself then as more of an educator, a CEO, or a strategist now? How do you see yourself?
So it's been interesting growing through this, going from an employee to working alongside in a strategy team, a strategic leadership team, learning different skills, but still being an employee, to then being a solopreneur, and then to an entrepreneur where we have multiple people, and we have people who work for us in different countries. We have local teams and board members and all these different things. So I would say I'm just trying to evolve with the company. I've kind of worn a lot of different hats. I think innately I was just more strategic in terms of of course I'm an educator, but you have to be strategic in the way you approach things.
Yeah.
So our flagship product is called the ITP, Individualized Tech Plan, which we then turn into a software called Tech Plan Genie. And it's all about building that strategy when you go into a school, because most schools, when you talk to leadership, you ask them, why did you buy this thing? Why are you using this program? And most of them are going to say, oh, well, because they have it, that other school, the Joneses, or my old school had it, or this teacher went to this thing, or we saw this cool booth at a conference, and that's why we did it. And so they're not strategic. They're very reactive, not proactive. And so, again, that mindset of building sustainable, successful change in schools requires that. So I've always tried to be strategic, but for my own personal growth, I've had to go from following to innovating to then leading, and then having to give up a lot of roles that I used to do that I was very I coveted these roles. Like I'd strive for them. When you're a CTO of a school, there's a certain pecking order, and you aren't necessarily given the amount of time that you want to have impact in a school, to have impact in that company. And so they give you these, like I said, a few days a year where they let you run. And so once you get into a position like I'm in now, where all I do is run, I have the spotlight all the time. And then you bring in people, you have to be like, okay, you take the spotlight now.
Gotta share.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about the mission.
Yes.
I need to do other things to help us grow, like going on a podcast so we can spread our message and market, or traveling to different countries and having booths and trying to just spread the awareness, or talking to investors, or whatever it is. So it's like doing these different things that I had never done before. But again, at my core values, I love to learn, I love to help, and I know that what keeps me up at night is if I don't raise this money, I have to say goodbye to kids and families and teachers, and it's a very powerful motivator for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah, good on you, because that's probably one of the most common threads that we have with our conversations with these founders, is that ego piece of like, okay, and you've explained it really beautifully of, okay, I'm in this position where I can go because I've made the choice to like take on this big dream and make this big vision happen. And in the beginning, you're all the hats, you're doing all of it. And then suddenly, as you push into that next level, oh, I actually have to hand some of this off because there's more things for me to try on in this next space. And so moving from that to the next and just going, okay, it's about the mission. It's not about me, it's about the mission, and just that reiteration. So I think you've explained that really wonderfully. So thank you for that. So we're getting closer to the end of our time together, and I'm just really curious, Robby, if someone was running a business like yours, but maybe like 2 or 3 years behind where you are now, and asked for like a cheat code, what would you tell them?
Okay, so if they're in a nonprofit, I would say make sure your paperwork's good. So take care of the bureaucracy, take care of your money, basically.
Yes.
Take care of those don't cut corners and wing it. Get that done, pay for the money for the lawyer. And thankfully we did that, and so it paid off dividends, because we've seen a lot of other nonprofits struggle because they don't do that part first, and so they're much further behind. I would say, at least in our field, proof of work. So if you say you're going to do this mission, you're doing these things, always document, showcase, show that proof of work, because people are pretty skeptical about nonprofits in general. They think they're scams, or 90% of the money is not being used towards a mission. So the more transparent you can be, the better. In terms of when they become leaders, just trust quickly, or trust faster than trust quickly, trust your people. I know it's, for some people that's very difficult. I'm the kind of person where I trust very easily, but handing over those responsibilities that were mine, that was took a little bit longer. But every new person I get, I throw them in the fire quicker. I throw them in the pool quicker, I guess you could say. Yeah. I get them moving and doing things that normally I'm like, no, you need like 2 weeks of training, 1 month of training, 3 months. My first guy, I made him like watch me for like 2 months. It was such a waste of time. And then for Tech Plan Genie, it's a SaaS company. So building the software is a very time-intensive process, and it takes a lot of work and mental, effort.
Yes.
But then comes the selling. And so I would just say, for that particular industry, don't be scared to share your idea. Because when you first start, you're like, oh, I have this great idea. I don't want to tell anyone. I want them to sign an NDA or whatever. They're going to steal it. Like, don't worry about that. Just have your idea, flesh it out, put it in bullet points, and start getting users before the product's even built.
Yes.
That way, they're excited about it. When it gets released, you're ready to go. I will say my product is one of one currently. It's the first one of its kind. So we are first to market. And so that's why I kind of was like very hesitant to do that. But I think looking back, I probably should have just done that. Just try to sell the idea before, as it was being built, or even before it was being built,
Yeah.
because I'd probably have more users than I do now. And even if someone does steal your idea, they're not going to be as passionate about your idea as you are, so they're not going to sell it the right way. They're not going to have all those little granular details. Your one big idea, there's a million little ideas that go into it that build it. And so, I would say just stack it. So that's two different cheat codes for nonprofits. The first one, get your paperwork right, and give your team chances earlier. And then for the software side, it would just be sell your software before it's built.
Yes.
Get that idea, get those users there, because it's going to be easier for you.
Oh, totally. That's great advice on the SaaS perspective. I know in my own journey with that, that was something a lesson I had to learn as well. I have a question about the non-for-profit side. So did you have to do a lot of education for yourself about the setup and everything, or is that where you sort of just leaned into the expertise of the lawyers and people around you, or did you go and really learn about it before you stepped into it?
We live in a very interesting time because everyone wants to be a YouTube star, right?
Yes.
Everyone's trying to be a podcast.
We all want to be seen and heard.
We all want to be seen and heard. And so it's hard to find things that aren't on YouTube, aren't on YouTube. So there's so many, blueprints out there on how to get started, what to do, strategies, tips, do's, don't, those kinds of things. So when I realized I have multiple schools, I was calling it Cobbs Consulting when I first started, because I was like, I'm just doing a little consulting, whatever, and then I'll go back to my regular job. When I realized it was a bigger deal and I needed to, turn it into a nonprofit, that's when I started to research, how does a nonprofit work and da-da-da. It was before ChatGPT came out, right before it. So I couldn't just ChatGPT, hey, what do I do? It was I had to actually do some reading and watch some videos and stuff like that. And once I did, I was like, okay, I think I got the baseline here. Let me reach out to, and it was actually through a friend. It was like, hey, I have a lawyer, talk to him, blah, blah, blah. It's going to cost you money, but it's worth it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to just bite the bullet and do it. And I'm so glad I did, because they helped me jump through all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed. And then there's also a lot of bureaucracy on the back end that really backlogged these processes. And since he's in the system, he was able to kind of get us through in a quick 8 months.
Okay.
That sounds nuts, but that's just kind of how Puerto Rico works. I know people who had a nonprofit before I started, and they still have it, and they still don't have our paperwork.
Yeah, it's not that island lifestyle, though, right? Island time.
A little bit of the island lifestyle,
Yes.
And then a little bit of just them not just trying to cut corners and just trying to do it the easy way, I guess you say, not investing in the other one.
Yes, right, yeah. So we always talk about boss fights. So the big challenge that needs to be defeated before a founder can move to the next level. So for Tech My School, obviously education funding can shift, leadership changes, contracts can evolve. At this stage, where does your revenue model feel most exposed, and what are you doing to make it more resilient?
Yeah, so as you heard in our previous conversation, I think just I guess you can call it the fickleness of donors.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of exciting opportunities for them to donate to. I'm not saying the causes, just their parties and different activities.
Yes.
That's always, right there under the surface. So I knew this a few years ago. I'm like, we need to switch it from a 99.99%, Act 60 donation economy to at least a 50-50, where if something happens, we can still stay solvent. We can still keep serving our schools and keep moving. So, working with services that aren't donation-based, that are service-based. So we're actually providing our services for money to other schools, to, whether they're in Puerto Rico or off Puerto Rico. We've served schools in Greece and Kenya, throughout the United States, etc. So we Istanbul. We have lots of different places that we've kind of reached out to and served, and yeah, we're still at it. We're not 50-50 yet, but
Yeah.
we had a nice jump last year.
Oh,
So we're like
congrats.
25-75
Awesome.
now, and so we're moving in the right direction. And I'm hoping we'll get to 50-50 soon.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And I think that's a really smart way to move forward and going to make it a bit more sustainable for you. Like you said, if you can't really compete with these, topless Brad Pitts and all the rest of it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, congratulations. That's a huge achievement. That sounds like it's balancing itself out.
I would like to think that it's like my achievement, but really it's our team's achievement. Everyone chipped into this process, the whole team. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just presented this big problem, like, hey, we need to get to 50-50. How can we do it? And then through those ideation sessions, one person's like, hey, we should try this, or we should do this, or whatever. So it's just been a lot of different people on our team who've been able to help us move the needle. We took in a guy who lived in, who's a friend of mine from Saudi. He was in Houston working at a very elite private school in that city, and he ended up quitting that job to work with us full time to serve the mission, because we came in and did our service for him after he had donated some stuff to us, and helped us in some. I wanted to reciprocate a little bit. He donated some computers. He was just very helpful. So I was like, yeah, let us run this process with your school. It's the best school in Texas or whatever, but let's see how it does. We'll stress test our product, and we blew him away, and he was like, this is the best PD I've ever gotten since I've been at this school. I love everything you guys are doing. Like, I'm in. Like, I'm going to work with you guys. So
Amazing.
And now that he's part of the team, he's brought some really great ideas that helped us, get money. And we have great teammates locally who've infiltrated the Department of Education, different university systems. My wife's been excellent at all sorts of things. So yeah, it's very much a team effort. And like I said, we have a very flat leadership style. So, as soon as someone gets in, we throw you out there. If you're great, we run with it, and we're like, all right, start producing, start making it happen. You're
Don't
one of
walk,
us,
run. I love that. So at the end of each interview, we like to get to know the person on the other side just a little bit more. So I'm going to throw 10 rapid fire questions at you. Okay. Are you an early riser or a night owl?
Early riser.
One piece of tech you couldn't live without.
I hate to say it, but my phone.
What's your coffee order?
I don't drink coffee. I drink tea.
There you go. What's the best investment you've ever made?
Marrying my wife.
Oh, that's a good answer. Office or work from home?
Work from home now.
What's your book or podcast recommendation?
Tech-centered, learning-driven is the name of my book, and it's all about finding the right tool. So we're very pro-tech and modernizing education and everything, but at the baseline, it's learning-centered. So we care about learning, we care about kids. So just finding the right tool. And sometimes that right tool is a pencil or your body or a book or whatever. It doesn't have to be just like a flashing AI software.
Yes, yeah, totally. So Android or iPhone?
iPhone all the way. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy question.
What's your go-to productivity hack?
I would say, I don't know, going on Twitter and seeing what's going on. And then we have to stay up to date all the time with ed tech, and just, you have to know the latest and greatest, what new tool came out, whatever. So I follow just my own PLC, my own PLNs, those things. Like my professional learning communities that's how I'm most productive, I guess you can say, is staying on top of it.
Yeah, finger on the pulse. I like it. So what was your first job?
My first unofficial job was when I was 8-year-old, mowing lawns with my best friend and his mom. She had a landscaping company, but my first paid job, where it was, I'm paying taxes, was when I was 15, and I was working at the Golden Corral, which is a buffet. And they made you do this survey, personality test. And based on your personality test, determine your job. And I scored 100% for being a server because I was an extrovert apparently. And usually 15-year-olds don't get that job. So I was pretty lucky. And it was great. I worked in the industry for like 10 years.
What a fun, yeah, that's a fun job. So if you weren't doing what you do now, what career would you choose?
Can I say retired? No, I don't know. There's so many things that I would love to do. I can get into. Really, it's just if I can do something where I'm helping someone and I'm learning, I'm in. And there's whether it's medicine, whether it's there's so many fields that applies to. I'm in a good one now, but yeah, if I had more money, I'd just do more of what I'm doing now. So.
Oh, that's awesome. So, if business truly is a game, Robby Cobbs, how would you define winning?
For me, honestly, it's knowing I gave it everything I had and for the right reasons, ultimately, which is service to others. So I know if I help people and I'm serving them, even if we run out of money, I would never feel like my time was wasted in vain.
Yeah, wow. You've got such a great spirit about you, and what you're doing is incredible, and you can tell you just light up when you're talking about what you're working on. So thank you so much for this incredible conversation and for sharing your time with us. I know it sounds like you're incredibly busy, which makes a lot of sense. So thank you for sharing everything about Tech My School. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, so first things first, just follow us on Instagram, Tech My School. You'll be able to see all of our work that we're doing with schools and our conference and all that kind of stuff. techmyschool.org is the website. If you want to reach out and if you have a business and you want to donate some technology, we have a great logistics company. A very wealthy guy who lives here. He owns multiple logistic companies and he gets us discounted rates. So we network with lots of people. Doesn't matter if you're in education or not, we'll find a way to help kids and help schools. And if you have a school in your home country, hometown that you want served, we will come to you, we will come to them, we will make it happen. So reach out to us there. And then if your school wants that strategic planning software, they would go to techplangenie.com to start off with that. You can register. First 7 days are free, and then you can do it by yourself, or we can help you remotely, or we'll fly to you and do it for you with the white glove service. So yeah, that's basically it. Through social media, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff, and our website and Instagram.
Incredible. Thank you. So that's all we've got time for. If this episode resonated with you, follow The Business Game on your platform of choice so you'll keep hearing more episodes like this. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
This is the business game.